Oh, we are in the home stretch now. Closing ceremonies for the 2024 Olympic Games are tomorrow night. Can you believe it? It's been remarkable, and I have a good friend here that knows a lot about French cooking and has been watching those Olympics as much as I have.
I've been like the 1500
Glued.
The other day was just.
Oh, and that man coming out of nowhere.
I jumped up and screamed.
This is Carl Benson, of course. He's from Cook's Bellecour and a great friend of the Carol 11 News Saturday show. And so we asked him, hey, do you do a little French cooking down there?
Frenchy thing? Yeah, of course.
And he goes, oh, yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
Lots of classes, right? Tons of, and even
Always.
just the croissant class alone is so popular. I know that Phyllis Jensen, Bobby's wife, and granddaughter did it, had a great time.
They had a
And you
wonderful
can actually go away making something like this.
You can. And you can buy them, now we offer them frozen, so you can bake them off. Which, like, we were talking French, so, it's the weekend. So I was thinking, what are something interesting French for us to do this morning? And it's like, right now the garden is out of control,
just
right?
Plump.
Absolutely. So it's a salad niçoise from Nice. And I did some reading on it, and it's super kind of crazy that Escoffier, remember that name? He decided that you should put potatoes and beans, green beans, in your salad niçoise. And it was a big fervor because everybody
was like, wait
objected.
a minute.
You don't put potatoes in there.
Potatoes.
That's for something else.
And
You
now
don't put
it's
beans in there.
Common
thing. So
common thing.
There's 11 ingredients.
Okay, is there always 11?
Always. They said if you're going to really make a niçoise salad, should be 11.
Can we look at this right here real tight?
There we go.
Okay.
So it's potatoes,
Okay.
eggs,
Okay.
beans.
Okay.
There's some, depending on which site you read, something between red onions and green onions from the garden.
Okay.
The French black olives, tomatoes, the butter lettuce.
Is it butter lettuce?
Yep,
Okay.
that's butter lettuce. And tuna.
Okay.
So everyone says jarred tuna. This is a really good, and this is the time that you don't want to get a can of
tuna.
something, whatever.
So this is a decent brand. You
it
like
is.
this
Ortiz
brand. It's
is
called
from-
Ortiz.
Yes, from
And you
Spain.
have it at your place. Okay.
And then it's, and you can
All
get it
right.
at Kowalski's in those places as well.
Okay, so you pulled it out and
And you flake it. So you don't want to mash, and you don't want, there are little planks in there.
Okay.
So you flake it, and then you pour a little bit of the salad dressing on it.
Okay. And you're going
swirl
to
it
tell us what
around.
the salad dressing is in a
I
minute.
should do that right now. How about that?
Tell us what's in.
Okay, so it's a traditional French salad dressing, which is a little bit of Dijon.
Okay.
And it's olive oil, French olive oil, and I love this right here, calamansi.
You know what?
and I have
Let's
talked
keep it
about
there.
that.
We actually have talked about this before. It is a lemon vinaigrette, right?
Yep, it's the secret ingredient in
There we go.
90% of the stuff that I personally make.
You're the one who sold me on this literally a decade ago.
Yeah.
I love this.
And we still carry it, and it's still
so
fantastic.
it's French olive oil, then this.
This calamansi, and a little smush of, do you like anchovies?
Sure.
Everyone's afraid of anchovies, but really, when you put it in
It's
the
fantastic
vinaigrette,
salt.
exactly, and it disappears, and
you
adds
just
a
kinda-
umami
just a
to
quick
it.
little thing.
Just a thing. And now, if you're going to make a traditional French vinaigrette, they typically do 3 parts olive oil to 1 part acid.
Okay.
I kind of like it a 50-50, and sometimes it's the opposite for me. Where
Because
I
that
like
vinaigrette's so good.
It's so good. Or and then you add a little splash of lime for that extra bright that goes with it.
Okay.
So then you pour a little bit into the salad,
And there was Dijon in there too, right?
a little bit of Dijon,
Okay.
just a hair.
Okay.
And then pour a little bit of that over the flaked tuna, and you can see that the tuna
it's
isn't
so pretty.
smushy. It looks beautiful.
Look how pretty that is. Okay, so you're gonna put that on there?
In the middle of the salad.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll use my.
I'm just eating a croissant.
That's good.
So I can't even help you.
Aren't those good?
They're so good.
Those guys in our bakery, they absolutely know what they're
those
doing.
bakers
Are amazing.
Look how pretty that is.
I know. So now you have the colors, and then you hit it with a little bit of
And you have
salt
capers
and
in there,
pepper.
too.
Capers. Don't you love capers? They're my
capers,
favorite.
too.
And then I have the little jar of capers here. So nonpareils, is that what they're called?
Yep.
Nonpareilles.
Do you said salt and pepper?
Salt and pepper.
Okay, and
on
then do you
top.
put more dressing on it?
Then, depends on what recipe you read, you can pour some salad dressing over the top and then serve dressing on the side.
Okay.
Because
so
people-
these 11 things are super important. And
Super.
I thought I learned something today. That's super cool.
Yeah, and then with the potatoes, you just kind of, you cook them. So, and the same thing with the
You blanch
eggs.
them off.
The potatoes you cook, the green beans you blanch, the,
Hard-boiled eggs.
yep, and just cut them into quarters. And then
You just boiled those off.
I did.
They're so easy.
There, and then you can put, some of this, like the stuff that you cook, you can do 2-3 hours beforehand.
This is a beautiful platter for a bunch of people.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is like a full dinner.
Yeah.
You have these and
Yep.
this and some wine.
And it's brunch. Now,
Okay, now we're going to make something that
next
I'm so
thing-
excited about because my favorite thing this time of year is going and getting those phenomenal tomatoes
Yep.
at the farmers markets.
Absolutely.
Because I don't not grow tomatoes because I'm not retired yet. I'm going to grow tomatoes. But so many tomato growers watch us. So you might have an abundance of this. This is a great way to get rid of a bunch of them.
But it's also a super nice way to feature the heirloom tomatoes, right?
They're so pretty.
They're beautiful.
Okay, so how do we do it?
This is a puff pastry.
Which you just buy
Which
if you.
at the grocery store.
You just buy it.
You
Okay.
just buy it. I will say there's a difference between vegetable oil puff pastry and butter puff pastry.
So look for the butter.
Look for the butter, and this is the reason why. As it gets to room temperature, that butter will start to, or the fat will start to solidify.
Yep.
And if it's the lard, tomorrow morning or this afternoon, when
It
you
won't be
have
as
4
good.
pieces left over and you're starving, you're like, I'm going to eat this. The butter at least melts in your mouth and it tastes a whole
Yeah.
lot better the next day.
But everything's better with butter. And
Exactly.
actually, the new word is you shouldn't have a lot of vegetable oil. I'm
No.
reading that.
Yes.
I'm reading that a lot.
And
Okay.
Old-fashioned butter is great. So these are heirloom tomatoes.
Oh, they're so
they're
pretty.
beautiful. And then you can get a whole variety of sizes. So I pulled some of the small ones out of our garden. And then you just kind of,
Are these from your garden?
the little tiny ones. This
Oh my
morning,
goodness.
as I was coming
This
over,
morning.
I pulled the
You're so
herbs.
sweet.
I pulled the
Look
parsley.
at this one.
I know.
How pretty is that?
And then what you do is you score the edge of the pastry.
Okay.
And that's only so that what happens is when you add the tomatoes in there,
Okay.
you get all that liquid on top of the pastry in the middle.
Okay.
So if you score it, it means the edges
And this is
can puff
really,
up.
really thin. That one's a little thick. So you want to
Yeah,
go really thin,
super
right?
thin. The thinner they are, the less moisture you have on them,
Okay.
and the less moisture that collects in the middle.
Look how pretty. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Okay.
so we just go ahead and go crazy with that. And then
Yep.
what do we do?
Then you're going to really love this. You add a little bit of olive oil, which I don't have. Oh, yeah. right
Yeah,
here.
you do. Right there, the French olive
The
oil.
French olive oil.
Okay. I'm going to put one more on there.
There you go. It's beautiful. And then you run olive oil over the center.
Okay. Why not?
Why not? And because we're having French celebration,
We are.
it's like use good. I think for the
Well, you always,
few times
when you're
a
doing
year-
stuff like this, you have to use the good stuff.
Yes, and then run it nicely over the edge. You got to
Okay.
practice so that you
And
get.
do this when this is cold because that's when it all works well.
and if
you
you let
can't
it-
be room temperature, it has to come out of the fridge. You roll it out.
Exactly.
You score it. You do this.
You are on. Boy, you
Well,
could-
I have used puff pastry a bit because
Yes.
of you.
Okay.
You taught me. I've
And
used
then
it for a bunch of things.
I just take the edge of the spatula.
Okay.
Run
And we
it
have one
around
in the
it.
oven
We have
that's
it in the
looking
oven.
so good.
So
do you put any salt, pepper, or anything?
You do, yes.
Okay,
Salt and pepper. And
Okay,
then salt and
pretend
pepper
we
at the
put
end.
salt and pepper. And then because of the magic of television,
Yeah,
are we ready?
We-
Are we ready?
we are ready. enough.
Okay. Check it out.
So if we
Oh
had,
my goodness.
now that is super hot, and you want to let it cool. But you see how the edges puff?
Oh, it's so pretty. I
Yep.
mean, that is a masterpiece. You pull that out of the oven and it's a little hors d'oeuvre.
Oh my gosh! And all your friends
People
that
are
you have
so
over.
happy.
And then you put your herbs fiends. So you should use thyme
Okay.
for sure,
Thyme.
or in this case here, because we
Basil?
have basil, and basil's very traditional in the salad niçoise. So it's like, okay, basil and parsley. So
And then
I'm
you
like,
just need a really sharp knife and just cut
just
and
cut
then
it.
you
Or
okay.
when we make it at home, we use a pizza cutter.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. And you cook it. You wait for it to just come down to temp.
I love this.
Slice it into pieces. Then for your little brunch that you have, those are some pickled. Okay, here's another trick.
Okay, go.
Since we have 2 minutes. People complain about onions are just too piquant, right? Some
Yep.
people, they respond negatively. So you can cook the onions a little bit in vinegar.
Okay.
So it makes them a little more tolerable when they're raw.
Or just soak them in water if you don't
Or
have
soak
time.
them in water.
Yep.
Bingo. So a
And
little
is
bit of
that-
vinegar.
Where does that go? The tomatoes? Or the onions?
They were left over here. So you can
Oh, that
sprinkle
was supposed
them on
to go
top
in
here.
there.
How's that? Now we have one more
See?
level of color. We got that purple and
Got
pinkish.
2 amazing recipes
Yep.
from an amazing man. And again, if you
Well,
want to
thank you.
take some French classes, you should go ahead and go to the Bellecour, Cooks Bellecour website. Of course, they have cooking school in Edina, cooking school in
St.
Paul,
Minneapolis.
and Minneapolis. That's right.
Downtown.
Oh my gosh, North Loop.
North
and
Loop.
then, of course, you can find cooking classes all throughout the winter, and you can continue to make all these great things.
And then have a cheers of glass of rosé in honor of all Frenchy land that we have here.
Frenchy land.
Frenchy land.
Carl, we love you.
I love
We
you.
have a link to find all these recipes on care11.com. Just text the word recipes to 763-797-7215.
Text Frenchy land to
Frenchy land.
Frenchy land,
There
right
it
there.
is. And you'll get a link to these recipes, all of them.
Yeah.
The plethora. All right. We'll be right back.